I live in the Highlands of Scotland with my husband. I've got two daughters, Tony and Julia, and a grandson, Ewan. I'm 64. I like going hill walking and swimming and cycling and generally being in the outdoors as much as I can. When I was first diagnosed in December 2017, strangely enough, I was being investigated for something completely different, and I was going from consultant to consultant and eventually got a consultant that actually listened to me, and he said, "Oh, I think it's maybe worth doing a pelvic MRI," because he was looking at me as an actual individual, and so he carried out the pelvic MRI, and that's where they found something. It's always bad news when a consultant phones you, so he phoned me and he said he wanted to do an urgent CT scan, and that's when they found that the secondary breast cancer, which was in my lungs and my liver and extensively throughout my bones, including my spine. And I mean, this was despite me telling the GPs and the other consultants that I'd had primary breast cancer. Nobody ever thought to say, oh, maybe let's investigate for this. A secondary breast cancer diagnosis is totally devastating. You just have to try and incorporate it in what you do day by day. But yeah, it does affect you, because I get really tired, I have to pace myself. I'm supposed to sit with my feet up for Kate to try and, so the chemo doesn't pull in your extremities and stuff like that. And I'm not a person that likes to sit about with my feet up, and I like to be doing things, so it's hard to get it into your head that you have to do that. But I'm trying, you know, and you know, the family are good. They keep reminding me. Yeah, and then obviously all the hospital appointments and all the sort of treatment appointments and that sort of thing. So it does affect your life, but yeah, again, it's the psychological side that affects me most, because you can be going about quite the thing and then something will just change and your mood will change and you'll have a down day, or you start shouting at your husband and you know, and he won't understand why all of a sudden you've changed. I think I said it before, but I feel like I'm quite a different person now with all the drugs and the psychological impact of living with a terminal diagnosis. I don't like saying the word terminal, and I hardly ever use it, but sometimes you just have to get it across to people what actually this means, having this disease means, you know. Lots of people just don't get it. Even good friends that I've told multiple times what it actually means, they still say things like, "So is it lung cancer you've got?" And I say, no, it's breast cancer that's moved from the breast through the lymphatic system or the system or the bloodstream to other locations in the body. So they just don't get it. You know, secondary breast cancer, 31 women die and some men die every day from this disease. It's the biggest killer of women under 50 in the UK. People don't know that, and the media don't. They like Sarah Harding. Case in point, she died of breast cancer. No, she didn't. She died of secondary breast cancer. Nobody dies from primary breast cancer. It's only secondary breast cancer, and it just gets me so upset. Try not to think about the future too much, because it's just so upsetting. Because when I think about my daughters and my grandson, and that I won't see him grow up, that's unbelievably upsetting. So try not to think about it too much, because that's hard to deal with. I mean, it does pop into your head now and then. You can't help it, but just try and stay in the day and day by day as much as I can. But it's difficult. GPs need to be more aware, and the general public need to be more aware as well, so they can understand what it's like, the lack of awareness that's out there, the lack of knowledge that's out there, particularly among the medical professionals. You know, all these young women that are going to their GPs and being fobbed off, "You're too young, it's hormonal," and all this sort of thing. It's terrible. the other thing is we need more money into research, because without more money, an appropriate percentage of research funding going into secondary breast cancer, we're not going to have the hope for the future that one day this disease could be chronic rather than, a terminal disease.